New Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi makes a spirited debut as he sets out priority tasks for the new provincial MECs. Among the goals he set himself and his team are the scrapping of the province's controversial e-tolls. It's a long-standing thorn in the side of the province's motorists, and the upgrading of ailing township hospitals. But how well positioned is he to see some of his ambitions come to fruition? We're now joined by Dr. Tim Make, a local governance expert at DTM Consulting, and political analyst Lucanio Vanqa. Good evening to you both and welcome. Tim, let's begin with you. Past results are generally a good indicator of future success. What is your assessment of Lesufi's performance as Education MEC that may give a hint about how effective he might be in this role?
Good evening, Iman and the viewers. I think basically, first, let's congratulate the Premier for his election. His work as the MEC for Education has been seen by everyone. His approach to his work, no one has got any doubt towards it. And I think with that kind of an energy, we hope to see more coming from him. Primarily, decisive leadership. It's what it's key in this regard.
Lucanio, similar question, just in terms of, some of the victories he has had, in terms of action and transformation within his portfolio as MEC for Education.
Yes, good evening, Iman, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, Lesufi is quite an energetic person and one that is always on the ground and has always seemed to be on top of things at the Department of Education when he was MEC there. He's someone that communicates and interacts very well with the community. He's trusted in the community, as you can see when he was moved from that portfolio to finance by Premier Makura in 2019, and the uproar that was in society demanding that he be brought back to education because that's where he's trusted the most. And that's where he's delivered sterling results there. He has digitized the Department of Education's application system to, one of the best, and I think the only ones in the country where there's a central application for the entire provincial department, and that has been very, welcomed development in that space, and the fact that he's young and is digitizing the space and is bringing new energy. And Lesufi is a communicator, Iman, at heart. As much as Coca-Cola uses the spirit of happiness to communicate its brand proposition, Lesufi leverages the spirit of caring to communicate this political message and vision to the community, and because of that he's trusted or seems to be trusted by Gauteng residents.
All right, well, in the spirit of that one, I was going to ask this later, but I think I'll ask it now. Tim, in business schools, one is taught that when a leader sets a tone, brings credibility of action, and has a clear delivery plan, chances are that becomes infectious and is largely credited with the realization of a strategic vision that they might set. Is this the Lesufi difference from your vantage point?
No. I think the point here is, first, let's remember that Lesufi is coming in not to start something new, but he's going to be carrying over the baton as handed over by the former premier, which is to try and take Gauteng to where it belongs. And as you know, that is based on the Gauteng blueprint in terms of development, the 2030 vision. And I think it is within that context that he will be able to rise to the occasion, because he's not going to start something new, but he has got to take a stock as to where the whole process is in terms of governance, where the whole process is in terms of development, and be able to leverage on the work that was done by his predecessor to be able to take the province to the next level. Let's also remember, Imana, that he's coming in. Fortunately, he has been in the Provincial Executive Council as an MEC, as Lucanio has said, so he has worked very closely with the former premier. So he's not new, he's just going to be following suit on what he has been doing as his contribution towards making sure that Gauteng becomes the province that it's supposed to be.
Perhaps that's partly on point, Tim, and Lukhanyo, maybe to follow this up with you. I mean, there is an accelerated agenda, it seems, that he has when it comes to the scrapping of e-tolls. He's given it over to his new MEC, Keriboni Diale, to basically take on that, to scrap the e-tolls together with Finance MEC Jacob Mamabolo. This has been, one might say, an albatross around David Makura's neck for a long, long time, and he hasn't been able to succeed here. We'll talk about the national picture in just a moment, but just this particular task that he set himself.
Yes, Iman.
Sorry, Tim, let me just quickly ask Lukhanyo this one.
Okay. Yes, Iman, it's very true. The issue of e-tolls are some of the things that brought the ANC, down in terms of support and votes in Gauteng, because they've been so, virulently opposed by Gauteng residents. And the fact that the ANC has always been making this a campaign ticket, the scrapping of e-tolls. You saw it happen in 2016, it happened again in 2019, and it seems that National Treasury is just not budging or willing, to scrap those e-tolls, because a lot of money has already been spent and a lot of government debt has been taken in that regard. So they need to find an alternative way of fundraising and being able to finance that expenditure. Otherwise, it becomes an albatross around the national government's neck now, because of the foreign debt that was taken to build those roads in Gauteng, the toll roads that you have. However, I think Lesufi could be able to achieve something, working with this new vision that he has put together now, working together with national government and being able to leverage his support to the national leadership of the ANC, such as Sir Ramaphosa, to say, if you want our support, then you need to help us scrap these e-tolls, because going to 2024 and the e-tolls will still be there, then they are sure to lose. So Lesufi will not even be a one-term premier, because this term doesn't count as a term for his premiership in terms of the constitution.
Well, Tim, given the signals from the Transport Ministry, that a solution could be announced this month with regard to e-tolls, how do you interpret how the rules of engagement have been defined on this one? Where are the lines being crossed between national and local competencies and decision-making powers? What is in the purview of national government and local government?
I think in this regard, my take is that probably he has got more information, given the fact that the Constitution requires the national, provincial and local sphere of government to work together in the common interest of society. And in this regard, the whole issue around the e-toll, it's a portfolio that sits at the national level. The province had to benefit out of the investment the department has injected into Gauteng. Now, the challenges thereof simply means that they had to work together to make sure that they find an everlasting solution. And I think with the point that Lukhanyo has just indicated, it shows that there has been work behind closed doors between the national and the provincial spheres of government, in as far as making sure that there is an everlasting solution on this. And hence, it's not doubtful that both the minister and the premier are very confident that they should be able to scrap the e-toll in Gauteng. And you should understand that the main obstacle which they confronted throughout the whole process, the intentions were there. But the crux of the matter is that there was this elephant in the house, which is, where are we going to get the financial resources to be able to make sure that we repay the money that we borrowed? And that also becomes a big contractual issue, which, if not properly handled, could have created a lot of financial liabilities for the state. And I think we just have to wait and see what the plan is, but it looks like there is a plan underway.
Yeah, and look, obviously, the more time it takes, the more the risk of losing credibility, especially when you come in with such energy, and task setting, giving the impression that long-standing problems in the province have the possibility of an accelerated solution. I want to quickly focus on cabinet losers or provincial cabinet losers like Parks Tau. Lukhanyo, why do you think Lesufi make the appointments and the cuts he did?
The ANC Gauteng exceptionalism that it thinks it enjoys in the country is really problematic, Iman, because this Parks Tau yo-yo that they seem to be playing. Because if you remember in 2019, the Gauteng ANC didn't want to include Pakstau in their provincial executive. So they requested the president to accommodate him in his own national executive, and he became a deputy minister at Cocta. However, they asked for him to be brought back, I think it was last year, to Gauteng, because they wanted to use his skills and all of those things under economic development. And again, now they've removed Pakstau from this, which means they didn't need him all that much. It seems like they can do as they please with regards to the country, because that destabilized Cocta a bit, because it didn't have a deputy minister at a time when we needed to get local government in good working order. So that is something that needs to be condemned from Gauteng, that they can't run the country as they so please, at the whims that they seem to enjoy. And now it's been removed and is one of those people that have lost out in the provincial executive, as you are saying. So I wonder what will happen to Pakstau. Will he now again emerge at the national executive level and under another reshuffle with Ramaphosa? And you also look at the issue of Makura, Iman. Gauteng is trying to force the president to accommodate Makura in his national government, and discussions are that they want him to become minister of DPSA. Again, it's problematic that the president must kowtow to the whims of Gauteng as a province, because they can't seem to decide how to run their province as the ANC. It's problematic.
And undoubtedly, stability is what the province needs, both at that level and at particularly at local government level. Want to save a few quick words for the broader politics now, and the matter of reports about President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala matter. Tim, I'll leave this one with you. What's your view on whether the Public Protector's Office can investigate the matter using its own legal discretion, even though 2 years have passed? We saw the Sunday reports asserting that the president is arguing that the office lacks the jurisdiction to investigate. You can take it or you can toss it over to Lucanio.
No, one quick one. I think the point of the matter here is that everyone, in terms of our constitution, is equal before the law. So the public protector has been dealing with matters of public interest. And I think the issue at hand, it's not immune. Yes, the president has got a right to advance his argument whether or not the public protector has got jurisdiction, but that remains the court's decision to make that determination as to whether did or does the public protector has jurisdiction to investigate this matter. And I think for us as members of the public, any matter of public interest, the public protector has been put into office to make sure that the issues that are of public interest are taken care of, primarily based on the fact that the principle of legality in South Africa is that all of us were equal before the law.
Going to leave it right there, because that's all we have time for. Dr. Tim Make, a local governance expert from DTM Consulting, thank you for your time. Lucanio, thank you as well. Lucanio Vanga is our political analyst, just talking about the developments here in the province of Gauteng.